How can you tell if you need a PIM system? I hope that the story of Mariusz, who is implementing an online store, will help you understand when it makes sense to implement a PIM or product information management system. Let's meet Mariusz, an experienced employee at a manufacturing company who has been dedicated to his job for 5 years. Mariusz is an integral part of the team and knows the organization's processes like the back of his hand. Over the years, he has watched the company stay afloat in the market, but recently he has noticed that the company is starting to fall behind when it comes to new technologies. The company's strategy assumed that within the next 2 years, they would launch an online store and start selling online. Mariusz was appointed as the product owner for the implementation. At first, Mariusz was very excited about his new challenge. He knew that in an online store, products are key, and along with the products, the data and their specifications are crucial. So he decided to start his work by figuring out where the data was located and who was responsible for it. He thought, this can't be that hard. On his very first day, Mariusz realized just how wrong he was. There was chaos in his company. Every employee had their own way of organizing things. Up until now, everything had worked fine, but soon they would need a single place to gather all the data that would feed into the online store. It was hard for Mariusz to find the information he needed in the jungle of files and documents. He wasted time searching and often encountered conflicting information from different employees. Where's that file with the product descriptions and features? He asked. Everyone saves it somewhere different. Mariusz's frustration grew as he kept running into more surprises along the way. Product photos had only been taken for some of the products. The product documentation needed updating, but sometimes the data found in different documents was quite inconsistent. There was no English translation for the marketing descriptions. Mariusz was getting more and more worried, afraid that the launch of their new online store would either be postponed or go live with only half the product data, which in the worst case could end with him getting fired. When he tried to share his findings with his supervisors, they asked him, how many photos are missing? What percentage of descriptions are missing? We need to know the scale of the problem and the statistics. These questions were even harder for Mariusz to answer. He had no way of counting how much data was there and how much was missing, especially when the information was so scattered. Desperate, Mariusz started searching for information in various online sources. How do you get a handle on chaos in product data? Where do you store data before it goes to the online store? How do you implement an online store in a large company? It turned out he was on the right track. Product data and how it's organized is the first step to successfully launching an online store. The best way is to collect product data in a dedicated PIM system and then, using an integration built between the PIM and the e-commerce system, transfer the data to the store. Sounds cool, but honestly, it seems pretty complicated. I don't want to take on that much risk myself. I need some support, Mariusz thought. So he kept searching. How do you implement a PIM system? It turned out there are companies that specialize in implementing this system. They know the logic and specifics of PIM inside out and help companies like Mariusz's deal with the chaos of product data. Mariusz breathed a sigh of relief. He managed to convince the CEO to carry out a pre-implementation analysis with an implementation partner. Thanks to the analysis, Mariusz learned what kind of PIM system he needed, how he should organize the data in it, and how much the implementation would cost. The implementation of the PIM system itself went smoothly, and Mariusz could sleep soundly because the launch date of the online store was no longer at risk. Thanks to the PIM, he was able to verify how much data was still missing. Priorities were set, a schedule for photo sessions and documentation preparation was drawn up. The company's employees gained access to a new work tool. From now on, they no longer had to painstakingly paste data into Excel, which always caused a lot of problems when updating. Mariusz can't imagine working without the PIM system today. Its implementation streamlined processes and the work of many people in the organization, and the company became more attractive in the eyes of employees and gained a reputation as a modern business. Customers using the e-commerce platform rate the store positively and appreciate the amount of reliable information they can find there. Mariusz proudly represents his company and is happy about its continuous growth. And you? Maybe you also find yourself in a similar situation as Mariusz. Or maybe you already have an online store, but want to start growing it. Perhaps you're starting to sell in foreign markets and the scale of your product data keeps growing. If you don't know how to handle it, get in touch with us. We'll help.